I am Anubrata Das,
I'm Theomara.
and we are of the UG2 or Chelmsford University's English department, and we have done our Literature and Disability course project, the internal assessment on the trilingual audiobook making of 7 Garo myths, which were originally oral. And so we kind of believe that making an audiobook version of it is challenging the notion of the original text and how actually accessible things to visually disabled people is considered less than or less serious compared to texts that are considered canon or complete via print, which is one of our goals. Theo here is of Garo descent, which has helped us a lot in our acquiring of the Garo myths. Theo, could you tell us how you acquired the process of it?
Well, basically, the stories, the myths I chose were ethological myths. You know, the myths that explain a lot of the natural phenomenon around people before the advent of natural sciences. And these myths were incredibly hard to obtain since the language it is written in is a very different Garo from the Garo that is spoken and disseminated across Garo Hills, across Meghalaya right now. So these are written in archaic Garo with translations that more so don't make sense at this point in the language. So because of this obsolescence, we try to prevent the same thing that we face during translation for the generations to come, so that we also archive these stories in its truest form through its oral traditions, which is an audiobook.
One of the forms in which I think our project relates to literature and disability is how it treats the disabled, the visually disabled, especially researcher, as a primary stakeholder in the process. Usually visually disabled researchers or people who take interest in such topics, they have to rely on somebody else's schedule on when somebody else will decide what is worth preserving and what is not. Here, however, the visually disabled researcher, the visually disabled person who takes interest in these Garo myths and these very vibrant cultural folklores and folk tales, they can engage with the primary source by themselves, which gives them really an opportunity to materialize the stakes that they actually have in the research world, in the world of their interest. That is how I think it relates to literature and disability, one of the ways. Would you like to elaborate a little more on the myths and what they kind of represent for the Garo culture?
Absolutely, because one of the main things that people usually tend to know about Garo people or Meghalaya when tourists go about from the mainland, they usually go around the Wangala months, the months that we celebrate for the month of harvest. That is related to the god Misi Saljong. A lot of these stories encircle the deities. The gods like Misi Saljong, Tatarabuga. Tatarabuga is, we cannot really characterize it in the Abrahamic religion kind of sphere, neither the different pagan spheres of God. It's not a monolithic God. There are very challenging counter ideas to gender in the text. In each text, there are gods who get pregnant while being a male deity and then give birth to the earth, which is a woman, right? And the origin of everything is genderless in this area of mythology, which is I think was an interesting concept to tackle. So you're tackling the idea of an almost obsolete language, which is completely diluted as of now. Then we have a culture that is not expanded upon, and then we have a diaspora of people who culture does not cater to because of their disabilities. And then we have the challenging notions of gender. So that is why.
For the validity of our Garo translations, which we know is a very obsolete language, it's a vulnerable language in India right now. We have got the certificate of authorization by Patyasa M. Marak, who has an MA in Garo literature and a B.Ed. And so she has approved of the translations of all 7 Garo myths in the 3 languages, Bengali, English and Hindi, and overseen our project with much care and dedication, and we are very thankful for that.